And we're live.
We were on before you guys and we couldn't figure out, nobody could see comments. So we just wanted to see if it works now. Maybe it's something with YouTube. We made sure everything was right in our settings on the back end. We enabled comments. So we're thinking maybe we accidentally clicked that off. Ah, there we go.
There it is.
Perfect. Okay. So we're not going to stay on long. This was just a test. Comments are working again. We are good.
Yeah. It's working. Okay.
That makes me feel so much better.
I was going to say, now I feel bad logging right off too.
Okay,
right?
You want to talk?
Talk. I mean, you're the talkative one. You've always got something to talk about.
Should I turn on that light though if we're going to stay on?
I
You
got
don't really
it.
see us.
Now that we're back inside.
You guys can see comments now. Yeah. So I don't know if we accidentally, there is something on the back end that I had never seen before, but it says turn off comments. Maybe we accidentally clicked it. We were having trouble with the phone on the tripod. And when we flipped it, maybe we touched a button, or it could be because the Wi-Fi on the mountain was.
Yeah, it was kind of shady up there.
Yeah. Can I tilt this a little?
You can do whatever you like. Absolutely. So, was there anything else that you wanted to, while we had an opportunity to log on here, anything you want to express, share?
I don't know. Does anybody have any questions from video 1 that you put in the comments that you tried to put in the comments but couldn't, that you want us to answer now? Oh my God, the baby just kicked me so hard.
Hmm.
Oh, I left my meeting for this video. We want prison stories, Adam just said.
Uh-oh.
You got one you want to tell?
Prison stories. Give me sure. I mean, listen, I've got prison
20
stories.
3 years of stories?
Sure. Give me a
topic?
Yeah, give me a topic. Give me a topic and I'll tell you a prison story.
Tell them the story. You were telling me a fascinating story one time about, I think you were in were you ever in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
With the guy, something with like the pipes. It was like really cold.
Unit.
And there was something going on with.
I was up in the.
You were using butter on your face, like because you had nothing. What was that story?
I was in the hole in Brooklyn, being transferred, and I made the mistake because I was in there with another lifer. He and I both left from Allenwood, and when you're in transfer, when you got that kind of time, like they generally don't put you out just normally right in population. You got to go through a captain review, all this crazy stuff, right? So the two of us, he's coming back. He was actually coming to Brooklyn on a forfeiture hearing. Quick little side note. I just saw a thing. He was trying to get commutation. They didn't give him clemency.
Oh, man.
On that last round. Older gentleman,
he was older 20 years ago?
Yeah, he was older 20 years ago. So he's up there now. But anyways, he was very successful business person, had his hand in some other things as well. Man, they just took all sorts of stuff from him. And he was in the process of trying to get that back. So I'm in the cell with him and he's telling me all of these things, literally pulling his hair out, like pulling it up as he's talking to me. And I'm like, wow, he's definitely stressed. Me, I'm on my way for medical to hopefully get some treatment, get my knee fixed. At least that was the plan at the time. Well, he winds up going out to court one day, and while he's out to court for his hearing, they do a quick review and they put him out on the unit. I'm still up here. I'm just waiting to get on the next bus out of here. I'm not staying. So one of the officer that's working the unit comes back to me and says, he's like, hey, we really need this cell. It's a suicide cell. It's the first one on the unit. And it was surprisingly great shape as far as cells go, right? And, he's like, listen, man, you'd be doing us a big favor. I'll look out for you. I'll give you some extra trays. And I'm like, what's the big deal? I get a little extra food. Yeah. Even trade, right? So I cuff up. I get all my stuff. And you got your bedroll under your arm. And I'm shuffling, handcuffed, shackled, because I might try and escape from the hole, mind you, with all of these cops around me. So I'm handcuffed, I'm shackled up, I'm shuffling down the hall. And as we turn this corner, I look and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize it was that long. The entire length of the building. It's a long wide building, right? There's this whole run that goes down, and on the left side you have cells, and on the right side you have other cells that go out to mini rec yards, because everyone is isolated, separated for rec, and you don't go out into a big yard. There's just these small yards. So anyways, I'm going down this hallway, and there's people, everybody's in the windows, waiting to see who's coming by. And as we're getting further down the hall, I notice that it starts to turn. Like when you get at the end, it turns, and I'm looking, and I can see that the cells are a little bit different. And what I notice is that the cells have turnstiles on the front of them, meaning they're no contact cells. They just pull things up, attach them to the front of the cell, drop the trays in. You never have any human contact there, and everything's blacked out. Well, I end up in the very last cell before it turns, and these other, no contact cells. So I'm like, man, at least I'm not getting thrown in one of those. And what I realized at the time is these are the cells that they have set aside for the terrorists, people associated with 9/11, because this is back in those days. This is the early 2000s. So they put me in this last cell. And as soon as, they open the door and literally push me in, I'm like, oh man, they got me. The cell is just trashed. It's trashed. And at this point, I'm handcuffed, I'm shackled. Like, I got to go through the whole deal of getting uncuffed. Anyways, I get everything, they get me all unhooked. I'm in there, and I'm like, man, can you give me some cleaning supplies? Let me clean this thing up. They really don't give me anything. I got a rag. They're like, whenever we pass out cleaning supplies, we'll give you something. So I got this dirty rag that I'm trying to, the entire cell is trashed. The water, there's no hot water. Now this is, I think we're in January or February. Yeah, it's freezing outside. So there's no hot water, and the cold water, the only water that I have, is literally so cold, you can't drink it. I don't know how it was still moving, how it was coming out of the tap, because I've never tasted anything this cold. Like when it hits your teeth, like it hurts.
You were expected to shower with this water?
Sure. Yeah, this is what you shower. Shower's in the cell, right? So like even just trying to wash my face was painful. The water was that cold.
And make coffee out of the sink with this?
Yeah, there was no coffee.
Oh.
There was no coffee. There was nothing. There were no extra trays. I got duped. I got beat. I got nothing, right? So, man, it was definitely, it was rough. I think I was only in there maybe 3-4 days. I did the whole toilet paper on the window. There's cameras in the cell, and I actually shimmied up the cell. Boop. Blocked the cameras. I'm like, oh, they're going to have to come down. They're going to have to deal with me now, right? Now they have to come around and do count. So they'd come around. They'd be like, hey, you got to take that down. You got to take that down. I was like, yeah, whatever. Go get the team, man. Like at this point, I'm done. I don't care. I don't want to talk. You need to get me out of this cell. I'm going to move one way or another. And when I responded, they're like, okay, verbal count. I'm like, oh my God. So now they haven't even seen me. For days, they have not seen me. A lieutenant comes down there. Remember, I'm right next to these terrorist cells. So there's people that come by because for whatever, high security to deal with this. But nobody will respond to me. Nobody will deal with me. So I'm just in there by myself, and having everything. I got the vents clogged up. Everything's clogged up. So it's like almost warm, kind of like muggy because there's no air circulating. But I have no warm water, only ice cold water. My skin is drying out, and this is where the butter comes in. Listen, when you're desperate and your skin is starting to peel and crack because it's that dry, man, you use a little bit, and it's not even butter. It looks like pats of butter, you know what I'm talking about, but it's not real butter. So whatever that substance is, it's got some kind of oil, just enough in it to get it on my hands. I put a little bit on my face, and yeah, I had to make the best of it. It sucked.
How long were you in there?
Just a few days.
Did they bring you to the hole?
No.
How'd you get out?
they came to get me for my transfer.
Okay.
I was actually headed to a medical facility. I was supposed to be getting my knee fixed. Remember that?
Mhm.
So that never happened. That was a terrible experience, but I realized I was just on the same waterline as those terrorist cells. So, kind of putting things in perspective, like that was something small. I can only imagine what they were doing to them. And listen, you isolate somebody like that. I mean, you better make sure, you got the right people, because, you deprive somebody of all sensory perception for any extended period of time, and there's going to be consequences. Like, it's just how it is, So,
Real quick,
Yeah,
Renee,
those-
thank you. She gave us $5. She said she's a CO, but a cool one. We
Okay.
appreciate the cool ones, and we appreciate the $5. Thank you.
we need people on the inside, people that have the courage.
Yes.
It's a tough job to do, but that also have the courage to do the right thing on top of it, because, man, I've been in touch with, I can't tell you how many current, former staff, guards, people that work in corrections at all different levels. And, I can have a different conversation at this point because I'm not in there. But I had plenty of candid conversations with, those people when I was on the inside. And, it's a big part of what we do, as far as advocacy wise, and making sure going forward, that there's more people that, that there isn't so much peer influence toward the negative, to anybody on that law enforcement side, whether it's out here in the community or in our prison systems or anywhere in the criminal justice system, where it's you're treating people, with empathy and compassion and from a more humanistic perspective. Because it's easy to become jaded, cynical, on both sides. So I never wanted to become like that. And
You never did.
I didn't. So.
We're done.
Yeah.
Okay, really quick, Lisa, I want to respond to you. Do not worry. I was going to text you this morning. I have to text you something really funny that I thought about, and it reminded me of you. So I'll text you after this. But do you ever play that game when somebody throws out a word and you have to respond with the first thing in your mind?
You're not going to do that to me right now.
No, I'm not. I promise. No. But listen.
It's been a long week.
I know. But I think because when Jess asked you for prison stories and you said, give me a topic, we should play that game on the next live video. We don't have to do it. Like, it could be next weekend or something, but
Sure.
Basically whoever wants to play in the comments can throw out a topic and that'll give you a story idea. I'm sure.
Okay.
23 years of prison, you're going to have stories. So you guys think about it starting now. Think about like the most off the wall topic. Like, you can be like the color blue, and we'll try to trip him up and see if we can't. I'm sure you'll have a story for anything because your brain works so fast, but maybe we'll try to trip you up and see if you can't think of a story from one of the topics. If you guys want to play, if you think it's a good idea, give this video a thumbs up.
Adam, are you fully adjusted to being home, or is it still kind of weird?
Oh, that's terrible. You know why? Because we answered that on the first video, but it probably got cut off because it shut itself down for a minute. You want to answer that really quick before we go?
Sure.
Okay.
I almost feel bad talking about how well adjusted I feel at this point, where I know so many of the individuals that I deal with who are, coming out, or some that have been out longer than I have, that are still really struggling, with that to adjust. Honestly, like I feel good. In some respects, I feel like I've been home for years in a good way. The routine that we have, just every day. The one thing I will say is, as well adjusted as I feel, like there are times where I'm overwhelmed with just how fortunate I am, with such a sense of gratitude. When I look out the window and, it was a beautiful day here in Vegas today, the sun's shining, like we're outside, there's mountains in the backdrop, you can see the strip in the distance, and it's like, man, this is life. Like, this is what we always talked about. It's what we always dreamed about. I really am living a dream.
I love it. And Brenda left a comment, but let me respond to that. To you first, and then I'll respond to Brenda. So I said in that video in response to that, like from the outside looking in, really, there are no issues with your adjustment. Like we were saying before, a lot of women that I've worked with are really afraid when their loved ones come home that they're going to be awkward. They're going to have social anxiety. They're not going to be able to know how to interact and kind of like reintegrate with people. And the woman's going to have to kind of try to either make up for it or get embarrassed by it. But I've never felt that with you. I think that you literally, his friend is like, you're an alien, because no trauma or PTSD has come out yet. So, and you've reintegrated perfectly. It's like I was saying that tomorrow's video, and this kind of answers Brenda as well at the same time. But the example I used was tomorrow's video is our nighttime routine. And you'll just see like how normal Adam is. He walks in from work and he's like, hi. And then we spend the night together. But she said she'd love to see your walls come down and you just kind of get in touch with your kid side. That happens on tomorrow's video. That's when we were joking around about.
Like we have fun.
I think because you're so polished and you speak so well, and we're not sitting here like tickling each other on these videos, but we're like two little kids all day long. It's because that's me. So I think I bring that out in you.
You definitely do.
Yeah.
There's a playfulness that we have together that I have with you that I don't. It's not that I'm holding anything back. It's just how I am. I'm more, I guess, reserved in that regard. But there are times where I feel like I am much more emotive now in a positive way.
You are.
Like the only emotions that I had prior in my old life were all negative. Like they were, like I was explosive. I was hot tempered, like just very self-destructive. Whereas now, like, I get overwhelmed emotional. We had a call earlier and we were just talking about some of our plans. And I'm like, man, people ask me about the type of father I want to be. And those are the things where it's, truly, I mean.
You're going to be the best father. So we'll answer this and then we're going to go. But somebody asked if we got married yet. So let me show them this picture from yesterday and tell the story behind it.
Did you post it?
No.
Oh, you haven't posted the picture yet?
No.
But we sent it to my mom.
Yes, that's why I want to show them. So that's the picture. I don't know if you guys can see it. It says, let me turn it to the side, see if it makes it bigger. I just want to make sure your phone number's not on there. It says wedding chapel behind us. No, we did not get married. This is my engagement ring. You guys ask me all the time why I never wear it. It's because I'm always home, but we were out and about today and it was cute. I got in the car. I was like, oh, I forgot to put on my ring. Should I go back inside? And you were like, yeah, go ahead. So I do wear it when we go out, but we left the gym and we were driving through downtown Las Vegas. We passed a wedding chapel and Adam got the bright idea to stand outside and take a picture.
Time out. You looked at it and were like, oh, look at that. It's a wedding chapel.
Right, because I had never seen one in Vegas yet.
You were thinking the same thing I was thinking.
But okay, anybody that knows me, I wish Kat was on here because I know that Kat, if I posted this picture and I was like, all right, if you're going to post it as a joke, you just have to post it with something like, it's a beautiful day in Vegas, or like, look at this tree, like no context, right?
We might.
Kat would know. Kat would know that neither of the two of us look vanity up, right? In the dictionary, and our pictures are there together. She would know in a million years, neither of us would get married looking like that. My hair a mess. You were wearing a t-shirt, sweaty from the gym. There is no way.
But listen, it was still like, it was an opportunity that we could not pass.
It was so mean. But here's the best part.
Yeah.
The best part. So Adam sent it to his mother with no text, nothing, right? The one that I'm like, and 2 minutes later, she calls us and he's like, I thought that would prompt a phone call. And she goes, don't you realize I'm calling you from a different number? I lost my phone. She never got that picture. The timing of it was just crazy, but it was actually probably better because I don't want to give her a heart attack.
Yeah.
And we told her we'll wait for her to come out here so she could be part of it if she wants.
She probably, her initial reaction, she probably would have
She's
flipped.
such a good sport. Yeah. What you've put your mother through. She has wings. She's a halo. Like she is an angel at this point, and you're still doing it, you big jerk.
All right,
well, you guys.
Yeah.
We love you. So next week, I think we're going to do that on a live video. I'm going to jot it down so we don't forget. Okay. I reverted back to paper. I'm just kidding. Adam had stacks and stacks and stacks, you guys, of empty, like not empty, but just like filled notepads. Like couch was full of piles of paper. And he's on the phone with his cousin when he first came home, and he's like, yeah, I reverted back to paper. I fell off the chair laughing so hard. I'm like, reverted back? Excuse me?
I'm still working on it.
All right, we'll play that game next week. We love you guys so much. We were just coming on to test this, but we're so happy the comments worked. We'll see you next week, or we'll see you tomorrow and throughout the week, but in the next live one, it's next week.
All right.
All right.